Aloha everyone, what's going on my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, we're going to be talking about some changes coming very shortly to the core mechanics of the divination skill. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go!
Jagex is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, this is all information coming from the latest live stream mod. Hooli brought on mod Osborne and Shogun to show off some updated improvements to the core mechanics of the divination skill. So starting off, why divination? Basically, mod Osborne has said that the data shows that people don't really pick up divination. There are a lot of people at level 1 and there's another drop off at level 80, meaning people get to level 80 to unlock their invention and then they really don't train the skill much after that, which is unique to divination. A lot of the other skills have a curve to it, but this was an outlier, which is why they felt the need to make a change to this skill specifically over others. So the core aim for this is to help the identity of the skill. Right now it feels like it's something that you can AFK, but it doesn't really fit that mold. It's not necessarily high intensity or low intensity. For example, wisps can deplete immediately or last quite some time, so it's kind of hard to gauge how AFK the skill is, even though it does feel like it should be. So with that said, they're going to try to inject value into the core loop of the skill, address it at the bedrock, and make it more welcoming and generous if you want to AFK, but also add a little more or a little extra for those who do pay attention and do work together with other players. So with that, we're going to jump right into the changes that have been made to the core loop of the skill, give you an idea of exactly how you're going to train it post-update. So starting off, I want to touch on the spring mechanics. So these have been changed in a number of ways. For example, there will no longer be random springtime, so it's not going to deplete randomly. They all have a fixed 1 minute duration. So every time you hit a new wisp, the spring will last for an entire minute. In addition to this, each person who also siphons from that same spring will add an additional 15 seconds to its duration, encouraging people to bunch up together. When you interact with a wisp, you'll now notice a brand new progress bar, which shows that duration. When it is empty, the spring will despawn. So if you just arrived at a new location and you see a bunch of people harvesting from different springs, you could go to the spring that has the most full progress bar because you know that one's going to last the longest. Moving on, there's been some slight changes to gaining memories. Now with all of the things that boost your divination, you can considerably increase your chances of gaining an enriched memory. They've added something called a crit chance to divination, and when you're at 100% crit chance, you gain an enriched energy instead of a normal energy. With all the boosts available, you can actually exceed 100% crit, which if you do so will yield you the chance of gaining either a double or even triple energy depending on how high your crit chance ends up being. Next, you may have noticed that they have reduced the amount of wisps at a divination location. This will remain true to all of the locations, and they have bunched them and moved them much closer to the rift itself, reducing the travel distance between them and the rift, which will likely mean more memories and ultimately more energies per hour. Moving on, I want to mention a big change to chronicles. First and foremost, whenever they spawn, they're going to spawn next to your player character. They're no longer going to be moving around the map and you won't have to chase them down anymore, which is nice. Also, if you do collect a chronicle very shortly after it spawns, you have a chance of gaining an enhanced chronicle, which will gain you more XP. They've also added a big change to what you can do with your chronicles. You can still offer them up like you used to for the extra XP. However, there's a now new right click on the rift where you can empower it. This will consume your chronicles. Any enhanced chronicles will be twice as effective. And when enough chronicles are offered to the rift, the creator will release a wave of energy buffing all nearby players. This buff will yield more XP when training here, a higher base chance of energy gain, and more memories. Not only that, this will spawn an enriched wisp. So this will be the mechanic by which you gain enriched wisps. They will no longer be a random spawn every 10-minute interval and will instead be a forced spawn when enough chronicles are offered to a rift. One spawn is guaranteed every energy wave, which means if you do have people offering a whole bunch of chronicles, you can spawn a bunch of enriched wisps. Shifting gears, I want to mention some changes changes to transmute. They have added with this update more higher level things to transmute. For example, dark and light Animika can be transmuted from Baynites. Also, you can transmute manta rays into rocktails. With this, there has been a slight porter change. The sign of the Porter 6 has been brought down to level 94 divination and will now require luminous energy instead. On top of this, they've added a whole new sign of the Porter 7, which will require 99 divination. This uses up incandescent energy and dragonstone necklaces. This particular porter holds 50 charges, so it's the best obvious porter available when it launches. Having said all that, those are the core changes that you can expect and that was revealed on the live stream for divination with this change. I just want to do a little quick fire section to give you some information about some things that may or may not have been changed and things that you might have questions about. So starting off, the level 99 divination cape will add an additional 30 seconds to the duration of your springs. This is a one-off addition per spring, so only one person can add the additional 30 seconds. People with multiple capes will not add at all to this, at least through their cape. They will add the additional 15 seconds, as I said earlier, but that's it. The ethereal connection is the exact same benefits. That is the perk from the Memorial of Guthix. It was unclear if they stack with the cape or if it's one or the other, so I suppose we'll find out when that comes out. Fading memories act largely as they did before, however, where they used to give an extended duration on your springs, they will instead give a 20% crit chance. The Chronicle Absorption spell will automatically pick up any Chronicles that spawn near you while you're training and automatically make them enhanced. The Elite Divination outfit gives you a 5% chance to have a 100% crit, and the Enrichment Aura also gives you a crit chance. Prism of Dowsing has been made largely redundant considering all of the wisps are now spawning very near to the rift, so instead what it will do is it will apply a buff to everyone around it, allowing them to get more enriched memories. The Divomatic hasn't changed much at all, but considering all the benefits and all the high crit chance you can apply to your character will likely make it so that you do create divine charges at a much faster rate. And finally, the Cursed Spot in the Wilderness will have all the core mechanic changes that you have seen throughout this video. However, nothing else has been changed. You still skull the same, and they haven't moved the wisps like they have the other locations. It will remain exactly as it did prior to the update. Now, with all that said, you're probably asking yourself, when will this make it into the game? And that is next Tuesday. So May 4th, considering Monday is a holiday for Jagex, will be the launch date of this update. That is 1 week from now, just a day into Double XP Live. So very shortly, not a lot of time at all until we get this into your hands. With that, I'm going to wrap up the video. Let me know what you think about all of this that we discussed in this video. Are you happy with these changes? Are you excited to be jumping into this and training your divination? Sound off below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Aloha.